Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
This is Backstage Bay Area. Now, here's your host, Steve Roby.
Welcome to Backstage Bay Area, your all-access pass to San Francisco's jazz music scene. I'm Steve Roby. Today we're spotlighting the San Francisco Conservatory of Music's Roots, Jazz, and American Music program, better known as RJAM, and its partnership with SFJAZZ for the side-by-side concert at the Joe Henderson Lab on Friday, November 14th. Joining me to discuss this is Jason Hainsworth. Jason, welcome to Backstage Bay Area.
Thanks for having me, Steve. It's great to be here.
Great. Before we dive into the RJAM program, could you share your background in music and education with our listeners?
Well, I'm originally from Houston, Texas. I play the saxophone and I'm a composer and arranger. I've been an educator at the collegiate level for, I believe, about 22 years now. My role here at the Conservatory is I am the executive director for the Roots, Jazz, and American Music program. I'm one of the co-founders, so I've been here since its inception, which is around 9 years or so.
Nice. So what does the San Francisco Conservatory of Music offer today's musicians, and where does the RJAM program fit inside that larger mission?
I would like to think we are at the cutting edge of what we would like to think of as building professional musicians and preparing them for life as professional musicians in our current modern era and age. And that is to say that everything that we teach our students, we're teaching them and setting them up for success once they finish and graduate from this very prestigious school. And that entails making sure that they are comfortable and have been well versed in playing not only the foundations of what is still essential for musicians, which is kind of the standard stuff, Brahms, Bach, Beethoven, Haydn, Miles Davis, Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, but also that they are now able to play across genres in a much more sincere way, and therefore they're not completely shocked when they get a call to sub for the San Francisco Symphony and play on one of their performances in which they're asked to play swing music because John Williams wrote a passage for jazz ensemble or for a swing feel, or to have a jazz combo that can also play Beatles songs from 50, 60, 70 years ago.
Yeah.
So that is kind of what our ethos is. And it's definitely something that I think sets us apart from many of our other institutions.
Right. So I'm curious, what's the typical age range and skill level for students coming into the program?
Well, we have all undergrads. So we're from age, I would say, 18 to 21, 22, give or take.
How do you evaluate their readiness, and what should aspiring applicants know before auditioning?
That is a great question. I'm always looking for people that want to learn and are teachable. And what I mean by that is I'm looking for students that have a deep passion for wanting to get better and know that they have a ways to go and are prepared to really dig in and check out the music that they aspire to perform and to make a livelihood performing themselves. I hope that's not too broad of an answer.
No. Yeah.
I guess another way would be to say that I'm not necessarily looking for the most talented person as much as I'm looking for the hungriest person.
Good way to put it. How did the side-by-side series come together, and what is its relationship with SFJAZZ?
Okay, so side-by-side concerts, this is something that is that has been done on the classical side at many conservatories and universities throughout the years. And during our just like conception of what our jazz program will look like, thought that this would be something that would be essential to our curriculum and to our department, and also just to our overall ecosystem, if you will, because we are very much an apprenticeship model in our jazz program. And the opportunity to play as a student with your teacher, your mentor, it doesn't get any better than that in terms of learning, not only from the aspect of how do I play these right notes, but also how do you run a rehearsal? How do you prepare for rehearsal? How do you workshop ideas with the band that you are now in? And so with that, we mix up all of our ensembles so that there isn't any type of hierarchy. So the freshmen are in with sophomores and juniors and seniors, and our side-by-sides are formed by having, I guess, about a 3 to 3.5 day residency in which students are responsible for bringing in his or her own original compositions or arrangements, that's very much unheard of in music academia, especially as first year students. And then they have the opportunity to share these pieces with their mentors who are, faculty at the school, and to flesh out basically a set list and an arrangement of their respective pieces. And again, that's very much invaluable real life experience that you can take to the next side-by-side concert or to a gig outside of the conservatory. And the way that this partners with SF Jazz is, as you mentioned, we have a very close partnership with them, and many of our faculty members are members of the SF Jazz Collective. And this particular concert that's coming up in November, we're going to have 2 ensembles, and both of these ensembles are led by current SF Jazz Collective members. So
nice.
David Sanchez is one of the saxophone members of the collective, and Edward Simon is the pianist in the SF Jazz Collective. And they are great, just like world-class musicians and great faculty members as well. And so they're going to be leading their respective ensembles through an individual set of probably unheard of pieces, just because, these are all
original,
very original pieces and arrangements specifically for the configuration of their ensembles.
I'm curious about something. I attend a lot of SF Jazz shows, and often I see clusters of students, maybe 20 or 30, that are maybe sitting up in the top part of minor auditorium. Are those your students? Are they coming to the shows?
Those would be my students coming to the shows. Yes.
So when they come to those shows, do they have an assignment?
I don't think so. I think they're just really into music. SF Jazz has been very, very gracious in giving them discounts. And our students definitely take advantage of that type of access, but also they get a chance to meet some of those musicians that are performing there as well. I'm sure you'll see them all around the building.
Yeah, I thought, what a fantastic opportunity for these young people, kids, I might call them.
Yeah.
But to see some of the diverse shows that come through SF Jazz, and to pick up on even just a little fraction of what those guys on stage are playing, was just a fantastic opportunity.
Exactly. That's what it's all about.
Let's move on to the musical part of our interview today. I was hoping you could set the stage for our first song with a jazz clarinet student performance from the RJAM program. This is by, I hope I get the name right, Xitlalli Estrella?
Xitlalli Estrella.
Estrella, okay.
Yes.
What should first-time listeners notice in this arrangement, and do you have a title?
I don't remember the title of her piece.
Okay.
But I can give you just a brief bullet point on it, just because I was at the show. First of all, Xitlalli is a junior in our program. She's originally from Dallas, Texas, and went to the same performing arts high school that Roy Hargrove went to, and Nora Jones went to, and Erykah Badu went to,
Wow.
which is Booker T. Washington School for the Arts, which is a very famous institution in Dallas, Texas. So we're very fortunate to have her here. She is literally our first and only jazz clarinet major at the Conservatory.
Huh.
So
Wow.
she's groundbreaking in her own right. The piece, as it was told to me being in the audience, is that she dedicated and wrote this piece for her mother, and it represents strong womanhood. I wish I could remember the name of it, but I think it had something to do with warrior.
Okay. Well, let's play it now. This is an original composition by Xitlalli Estrella, and you're listening to Backstage Bay Area. This is Backstage Bay Area, and my guest today from the San Francisco Conservatory of Music is Jason Hainsworth. We're diving into some of the music by the students at the RJAM program at the Conservatory, and we're going to hear another track, and I'm going to let Jason help me set it up. It's another original composition by Alan Jones. He's a jazz bass alumnus. What can you tell us about this recording?
Alan is a recent graduate, as you mentioned, of our RJAM program here at the Conservatory. Alan is originally from Denver, Colorado. And as we mentioned earlier, we're very fortunate to have many of the members of the SF Jazz Collective be on faculty. So Alan had the great fortune to be one of Matt Brewer's students, Matt Brewer being the bassist in the SF Jazz Collective, as well as taking lessons with the principal bassist for the San Francisco Symphony, Scott Pingle. So he has a 1-2 punch that is pretty unprecedented. And he's a great bassist and is playing all over the place in the Bay Area right now.
All right.
This piece, again, I cannot remember the name of this piece.
I'm sure Alan will be writing it and
yes.
telling us.
But this one is more of a hard, swinging, old school, in the vein of Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers type of vibe.
Yeah.
And with a pretty traditional horn configuration and horn arrangements a la Wayne Shorter in the Jazz Messengers in probably the early 1960s. I hope you enjoy it.
All right. Nice setup. Let's hear it now. This is an original composition by Alan Jones, and you're listening to Backstage Bay Area. Jason Hainsworth is joining us. He's our guest today on Backstage Bay Area. And we just heard an original composition by one of the RJAM students at the San Francisco Conservatory of Music. And that's our topic on today's show. Jason, can you share a recent RJAM success story, a student project, festival win, or a professional milestone that captures the spirit of the program?
Sure. Well, I would say the most recent thing that comes to my mind is we've been very fortunate to have some really talented students get accepted and awarded into a very prestigious jazz festival, which is called the Rafinha Music Institute, which takes place in the summers just outside of Chicago, Illinois. It's basically all expenses paid music camp that lasts for 2 weeks, and it's music intensive. It's where students all go there to workshop, to write and arrange music for their specific band. And the leaders of that institute are jazz icons John Clayton, Billy Childs, and Steve Wilson. And they receive auditions from literally all around the country.
Nice.
And it's by invitation only. And fortunately, we were able to get 2 of our students accepted into that program. And one is a current senior. Her name is Jayla Hernandez, and she is an Oakland native. She actually attended the Oakland School for the Arts. And there was a bassist that is from San Diego. His name is Julian Esparza. He also studied with Matt Brewer of the Collective and Scott Pingle of the Symphony. And they had that wonderful experience. And again, those are life-changing opportunities because now you're receiving feedback from like true jazz legends, but you're also interacting with a whole different crop of students and young jazz musicians who are all as serious as you are and will be people on the scene, as it were, for probably the next 30 to 40 years. And that's how you grow and build your network yourself, is to have these newly formed relationships and stay in touch with these people because they're going to be gigging around the world, and so will you. And the jazz community is very big, but it's also very small.
All right.
And
that's fantastic.
Yeah, so it was just a great opportunity. So I'm really, really proud of both of those folks.
All right. Hey, while we were talking, I just got some breaking news here. I got an email from Amelie. The first track we heard is titled Rebecca. It's an original composition by the jazz clarinet student. And the second track is called Warlike. It's another original composition by Alan Jones, the jazz bass alumnus. So no need to text me your hate mail. We got that cleared up.
Awesome.
Well, so let's talk about the upcoming show at Joe Henderson Lab. The event is called RJAM and SFJAZZ Side by Side, New Visions. Can you tell us more about the performance at the Joe Henderson Lab and who will be on stage?
It will be basically all original compositions and arrangements for their respective ensembles. And we try to have septets, 7-piece bands, sometimes octets, but giving all of the musicians on stage plenty of time to stretch out because we are still improvisers, and that's kind of what we try to do best. And usually they will have 2 bands, so they'll each have a approximately 30 to 35 minute set per band. As I mentioned, David Sanchez on tenor saxophone will lead one of the ensembles, and Edward Simon, our pianist, will lead the other. And I always enjoy having a good mix of instrumentation. So it'll probably be a couple of saxophones, maybe trumpet, maybe trombone, piano, bass, guitar, and drums per ensemble. With that, of course, there's a whole lot of possibilities in terms of instrumentation and arrangements and showcasing the various musicians to their liking. We don't always play straight ahead jazz on these shows, although that is kind of like our bread and butter. But you may be hearing some Miles Davis inspired music also, because it is Miles's centennial. And we've been in the midst of studying Miles Davis for the better part of 2 years in various iterations because of this, in all of his forms, and he has a lot of forms. So,
Yes, he does.
yes. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear a little bit of influence by Mr. Davis himself.
All right. So who will be emceeing the show? And I guess there'll be a turnaround so other students can play on stage as well?
Yeah, there'll be a short turnaround, but I don't think there will be a full-blown intermission. We like to keep our concerts pretty tight.
Yep.
So as one band gets off the stage, the other band will get set up and we're back at it. So it'll be a quick but fun and musical show. It won't be any longer than, I would say, an hour and 15 tops. It should be fun. It'll always be entertaining for sure. And also you get to hear students that I guarantee you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, they'll be like doing much, much bigger things and recording with a lot of people and touring all around the world. So it's one of those opportunities to really hear someone from their earliest stages into their career.
Yeah. And if you're attending a show at SF Jazz, more than likely on the street, you'll see one of the students walking around with their instruments and things like that. So that's kind of fun to see too.
It's always great to see that, yes.
Well, let me remind our listeners, the event is called RJAM Side by Side New Visions. It takes place on Friday, November 14th for a 7:30 p.m. show. And the venue is at the Joe Henderson Lab, which is inside the SF Jazz Center. Tickets are available right now if you go to sfjazz.org. And for more information on RJAM and the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, visit the San Francisco Conservatory of Music's website, sfcm.edu, for program details, audition info, and upcoming performances. Jason, before I let you go, I understand SFCM puts on hundreds of free performances, and this year you launched your biggest season yet. Where can our listeners find out more info? I guess it's on the website?
It's on the website, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that. Like you mentioned, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of concerts throughout the entire year, especially the academic year. And the vast majority of our concerts are absolutely free and open to the public. And while they may be ticketed, they're still free tickets. So I really encourage the listeners to come and check us out. We're in 2 amazing performance spaces, one on 200 Van Ness, which is literally across the street from Davies Hall, which is where the symphony performs. And the other building is on 50 Oak Street, which is just 2 blocks away from Symphony Hall. And the concerts are really inspiring, and they're vast. Anything from opera scenes to our amazing SFCM orchestra, to wind ensemble, to chamber music events, to senior and master's recitals, the whole spectrum. And the level of musicianship, it is top notch.
All
so
right.
You can't beat it.
So to get a ticket, go to the website and sign up for a show?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
Sounds good. Jason, hey, thanks so much for your time today. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I'm looking forward to the show coming up at the Joe Henderson Lab.
Thanks so much for having me, Steve.
All right. Backstage Bay Area, we'll be right back.
Hey, musicians, would you like to be a guest on Backstage Bay Area? Just email the host and let him know when you'll be playing in the Bay Area. The address is backstage.sfbay@gmail.com. Now, let's get back to the show.
Thanks for listening to Backstage Bay Area, your all-access pass to San Francisco's jazz music scene. I'm Steve Roby, and we'll see you at the Joe Henderson Lab.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.